The Fusion Award, celebrating those who have implemented inclusive practices that produced a culture that embraces a collage of thought, race, gender, generations, and preferences. The 2019 Fusion Award recipients are Anthony Alexis, Ronald Machin, Anthony Alexis. Anthony served as Assistant Director and Head of the Office of Enforcement at the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, CFPB. He developed and managed the CFPB's enforcement strategy, coordinated investigations, and the prosecution of litigation, and led the resolution of major matters within the CFPB's mission.
I'm Tony Alexis. I'm a partner at Goodwin Proctor. I'm in the Washington, D.C. office, and I'm in the Consumer Financial Services space or practice group, specifically in the government investigations and enforcement areas. As a partner in that area, I help companies in the financial services markets navigate issues related to government inquiries or government investigations when there's a perception that the company has violated or may have violated any of the consumer laws that would apply to that company.
Prior to joining CFPB, Tony was a partner in private practice, focusing on government investigations and complex litigation. He spent 13 years as an assistant United States attorney in the District of Columbia, where he served as the senior attorney in the Fraud and Public Corruption section and as the deputy chief of the Federal Major Crimes section.
So diversity and inclusion is very important regardless of whether it's in the financial services industry, but because in the financial services industry you usually are dealing with a certain segment of what I'll call consumer-based or retail or something where you are really trying to reach out to members of the public, have them conduct business with you and invest with you, that you want them to, number one, you want to understand what their issues are. You're going to have a deep understanding based on a variety of issues, whether it's someone's race, economic level, gender-based issues, sexual orientation, whether someone's actually from this country or not. And you're going to have to understand those incredibly at an in-depth way in order to be successful, especially if you want those consumers back. And secondly, if you want to make sure that you are servicing the consumers efficiently and for what they want.
Tony also worked very closely with other regulators and enforcement authorities, including federal banking agencies, OCC, FDIC, and Federal Reserve, among others. The Department of Justice, numerous state attorney generals, and state subject matter agencies and departments.
I have always been involved with diversity, whether it was when I was a young associate at a law firm, and there was a sense of ethnic diversity, especially in the Washington, D.C. Legal market. A lot of law firms were not ethnically diverse. They had, the numbers were very small, and I think it was a challenge, and there were many reasons for challenges, and I think at that particular time, one of the critical problems was the pipeline. So obviously serving on associate committees in order to help with the recruitment and then eventually the retention, and then eventually if you were a mentor, the growth of that particular group of cohorts of people who were diverse, making sure that you could make yourself available to them, that you could hear them, that you would understand their concerns, and without portraying confidence that you would be able to provide a way to resolve issues, which could help with retention and also advancement.
Prior to his service in the U.S. Attorney's Office, he was a trial attorney for the U.S. Department of Justice in the fraud section of the Civil Division. At Goodwin Law, Tony's practice focuses primarily on consumer financial services and government and regulatory investigations. Throughout his career, Tony has been consistently recognized for his public service, including with the prestigious United States Department of Justice Director's Award for Superior Performance as an Assistant U.S. Attorney, and multiple United States Attorney's Office Special Achievement Awards for outstanding performance.
A good one. I've become, as soon as I came on board, one of the first things I checked was what the diversity and inclusion appetite of the institution was, and that was something that I checked before I even came on board. But even when I got here, how much support did they have? Did they have a designated chief diversity officer, or was it the responsibility of just a single partner? I think the type of investment of having your own chief diversity officer shows that the institution values diversity in a way that you're assured that it will be incorporated into your business practices, into your hiring practices, into your inclusiveness practices, into how you train people to make sure that subconscious bias, or in the worst cases harassment or discrimination, does not work its way into an organization.
Ronald Machin. Ronald Machin is a member of WilmerHale's Global Management Committee and co-chair of the White Collar Defense and Investigations Practice. He is one of the nation's leading trial and white collar defense lawyers. An experienced litigator who has tried more than 35 cases to verdict, Ron specializes in litigating complex criminal and civil actions.
Well, do a number of things here at WilmerHale. I am chair of our investigations and criminal litigation group. I'm on the management committee of the firm, on the compensation committee of the firm, and I practice. I have a very vibrant practice. We do a lot of False Claims Act work, a lot of cross-border corruption work, and so we're very busy.
Ronald was appointed as the U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia, the nation's largest U.S. Attorney's office, by President Obama, and served from 2010 to 2015. He was frequently responsible for representing the United States in matters of great significance to the entire country, including the successful prosecution of the largest domestic bribery and bid rigging scheme in the history of federal contracting, and a number of landmark settlements in False Claims Act cases against government contractors, healthcare providers, and pharmaceutical companies.
And one of the reasons I came to WilmerHale was because the firm had a strong track record of advocating for those minorities and disadvantaged folks in a lot of different forms. And so the firm had a strong track record and history in the civil rights movement, had advocated going back to the Michigan case, and then the Richmond v. Croson case, which was a case that arguing the validity of set-aside programs for minority businesses in Richmond, Virginia. There have just been a lot of different matters where the firm has been on the right side of diversity and inclusion efforts.
During his career, Ron has repeatedly been recognized for his professional accomplishments. In 2018, Ron was featured in Savoy Magazine's 2018 Most Influential Black Lawyers list, which focuses on top lawyers, showcasing visionaries, leaders, and advocates, including partners and corporate counsel from national law firms and Fortune 1000 companies who are widely recognized for their professionalism, protection of rights, and community service.
I usually find that the diversity that I've had to deal with my whole life is really an advantage when I'm interacting with people from different cultures, because I'm able to understand, even if I don't speak the language, how they're feeling about a certain issue, and it works to our benefit.
In 2015, he was identified as one of DC's top criminal defense lawyers by Washington Magazine and was also honored as one of the 100 most outstanding African American leaders for his contributions in the field of law by African Leadership Magazine.
We have a very strong diversity committee here, and I'm a member of the diversity committee. We do a number of different efforts to try to make sure that our partnership understands the importance of diversity, and our entire firm really celebrates and understands the need for diversity.
Please join the Council for Inclusion in Financial Services as we congratulate our 2019 Fusion Award recipients.